talk about this thing.
And welcome to...
We sound just so sad right now.
Welcome to the movie dump.
Where we watch all the shit so you don't have to.
Scott, I'm just going to say this right now. Fuck you.
Yeah. You suck,
You,
Scott.
You know, fuck myself.
Yeah.
I mean...
this week, Scott, it was Scott's choice and flick. And
I wish everybody could see us, like, at home right now, because, like, we're all, like, our hair is frazzled, and it looks like we've been up for, like, 4 days straight watching this, but this is the only podcast I think we've done where Ben has just decided to drink all the way through this entire podcast.
This movie has gone by 2 titles. It's, depending on which version you have, it's either The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been a mainstay for such a long time, and everybody, responds that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, is like a classic in cinema, and everybody has to see it, especially horror film buffs. And
it's such a great horror film, and to throw this into the franchise is just a big skull fuck to it.
I guess
this was it was made in they filmed it in '94. It did a couple of film festivals, but it didn't actually get released into theaters until about 1997.
Yep.
This film stars Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
Can we inject like a clown laughing like soundbite into this or something?
So
we gotta bring the mood up in here.
This is so depressing.
Seriously.
This is so.
But
if you could see us, we're all basically just like staring at whatever's closest about flip from our faces, hating life.
Yeah. Renee Zellweger dodged a bullet with this coming out after Jerry Maguire, because I think if it was released before that, she would not have a career.
Before we get any further, let's go and enlighten these.
God, I fucking hate you, Scott.
I hate me too.
Oh,
everybody hates Scott episode for this.
God
damn it, Scott!
Yeah, no, I'm either really good or really bad at this. I'm not sure which way, but stay tuned in 3 weeks where I find something so horrible that I'm doing the podcast by myself. But anyway, let's enlighten everybody about what this movie is about. A group of teenagers get into a car crash in the Texas woods on prom night, and then wander into an old farmhouse that is home to Leatherface and his insane, yes, I hear that sigh, Ben, and his insane family of cannibalistic psychopaths.
There's a couple things wrong with this synopsis already, because...
Well, number one...
Did they eat anybody in this? Like, they're cannibalistic psychopaths? And, like, the prominent thing is, like, Leatherface
took
in
a bite out of somebody, I think.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey took a bite out of...
he
out
bit
of
a nose off
that
or
Heather
something.
chick. Well, you didn't actually see what he took a bite out of. He just reached down and started making out with her, and when he came up, he had blood in his mouth.
You really didn't see a whole lot of anything in this movie.
Not really.
For being, one, for being a horror film, 2, for being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, there was hardly any blood and gore or massacre as you would. There was one girl in there, Heather, which in the beginning of the film, she was the one that kept saying, "Oh, this is what would happen, in a horror film. This is where the psychopath comes out with a chainsaw or whatever."
I had these dreams about some weirdo following me through the woods, and it's coming true.
Yeah.
Sorry, but we're all gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Some murderer, like that guy in Chicago, he killed people and put their hearts in a refrigerator. He's gonna kill us. We're gonna show our pictures naked with our hearts torn out on a current affair.
Yeah, she was She was the stereotype.
Yeah,
she was a dumb chick.
She was there to drive it home that yes, you are watching a horror film.
Yeah.
Okay, so the film starts off with these kids. They're at prom.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why they end up out in the middle of the woods in a car crash is the one chick, Heather, sees her boyfriend, or finds her boyfriend Barry making out with some other chick.
Yeah.
She gets pissed off. She runs off and gets into his car and drives away.
Right.
Somehow...
Enter the shittiest car wreck sequence ever.
Oh my God.
It was like a fender bender.
It was a fender bender.
No need to trade insurance information.
Well, I like the first thing that I noticed was when she's peeling out of the parking lot, a hubcap falls off, and then the next shot, the hubcap's back. And that's when I just realized that this is going to be a fantastic film.
See, that's the weird thing. This movie, I don't know about you guys, but it's very deceiving. Like, through about half of it, you're like, okay, this is bad. But it's not... it's stupid bad.
Honestly, the only part that kept me wanting to watch more and not surf the internet was Matthew McConaughey. I was seriously this is the first time and only time you'll ever hear me say I wish there was more Matthew McConaughey in this film.
Yeah, he was probably the only redeeming value.
He was.
I mean, I thought Renee Zellweger was kind of.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You made a good, interesting point. What was it like around like the 40-minute mark? What was it that?
About the time we started screaming that we hated this thing and wanted to die.
What that
About her eyes.
Yeah, like she's younger, so her eyes are more open, and now that she's a little bit older, her eyes are more squinty. And it's like later on in life, she realized that she made this film, and it's just kind of that sour thought of, ugh. I really scraped by on that one.
Well, you know, watching this movie makes you, hate yourself, but actually being in it makes you slowly go blind.
See, I've watched plenty of her films later on, after she did this one, and she's a good actress, but in this film, for some reason, it just sucked the talent out of everybody except for good old Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
The one thing I do have a problem with this film, besides that it was made, was that it has the title Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And when you think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what do you think of?
You think Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
You think Leatherface.
Yeah, you think Leatherface.
Yeah. Badass, crazy family, and, out in the middle of nowhere. And
there was no purpose to this being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, it wasn't. It's
Leatherface was a little bitch in this. He was a drag queen, and he actually did not kill a single person in the film.
I don't think... No, yeah, he didn't. He didn't at all. No.
Oh, you're right. Oh, now I hate this movie even more.
It's like they
because he didn't kill anybody.
No, I don't know what happened to the guy. What happened to Barry, the douchey boyfriend?
Oh wait, he did kill somebody.
Did he kill him?
That's right. He hit him over the face with a hammer.
Yeah, but he was still alive though.
They just kind of
never saw him.
You never saw what happened. That was another thing.
The death count was
it was very weird.
Really
well,
that's because Sharktopus killed all of
them. God,
can we just go back and review Sharktopus again? Because that was fun.
All right, there's a shark with tentacles.
It's like the director just found a script out there, and he's like, damn it. It's like he
That's
found,
what I think.
Yeah. The director found a script out there and was reading it, and he's like, you know what this script needs? We gotta put Leatherface in here somewhere. So they just kind of wrote him in at any moment, and they're just like, yeah, okay, why not? Sure, let's put Leatherface in.
Hey guys, I think I'm just gonna leave because Melissa's asking if I want to go to Applebee's, and it sounds like a fantastic idea compared to talking about.
We can't let you leave in this state of mind
because we're going by Leatherface law, or really by Texas Chainsaw Massacre laws, that basically all you have to do is get on the other side of a door and lock it, and you can't ever get through it. Regardless that you have a fucking chainsaw. You cannot get through it. You can bust through windows, you can bust through the roofs of greenhouses.
I do have to applaud Leatherface for his incredibly inept way of wielding the chainsaw. Oh,
I know. For this being the fourth film, you would think that he'd be a veteran with chainsaw play.
You know what it is? It's like, it's every haunted house you go through, and at the end they have that one guy that has a chainsaw that runs out of nowhere, and he's wielding it and just flailing it around his head, and he can't get anywhere near you. But
it reminded me of like Hollow Scream or Halloween Horror Nights, where you have that guy that runs after you, but you know that he can't do anything about it. I mean, he's just there to scare you, and that's it. He's not going to attack you.
Boogie, 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 boogie.
Exactly. And halfway through the film, I just started realizing, I think it was when, that's exactly where it was. This is where Leatherface lost his balls. Where he was a little bitch. He had no balls. I'm sorry. He was a little bitch.
He turned the bitch.
It was when he stood up trying to get all, it was the dinner scene. He stands up. He starts getting all, angry and yelling. And Renee Zellweger, out of everyone in the cast, says, "You sit the fuck down."
You sit the fuck down. And shut up.
And he does it.
Yeah.
He does it. Leatherface.
Yeah.
Badass fucking Leatherface.
This was not the same Leatherface.
This movie was weak. I mean, like if you got the first one, and the progression through the original series was through 1, 2, and 3. I mean, Leatherface became I shouldn't really call him a monstrous killing machine because he really wasn't in any of the movies. Like to a major degree, but the thing that really bugged me was the Saw progression throughout the first 3 movies got bigger and bigger. Yeah. It started getting chromed out and tricked out. And
because it was like a symbol of your masculinity.
It had an engraving on the side by the third one that said, "The Saw is family." And it was freaking chrome, and it was awesome looking. And then they get some crappy electric looking thing for this.
This looked like a little Fisher-Price wannabe plastic chainsaw.
He's got like a belt sander in the way. So what do you guys think of like the subplot of this, where apparently Leatherface and his family was like a member of the Illuminati or something like that?
Let's do this for the rest of this podcast. Let's not.
Can we just say fucking and talk about like Jackass 3D or something like that?
We made a commitment. We're gonna review shitty movies, and this is a shitty movie. It's gonna get.
That's just really sad when we pass up Jackass 3D as a shitty movie to talk about this.
Yeah.
That just tells you the caliber of how bad
this movie was shitty.
But yeah, let's just not refer to it as Leatherface or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. From now on, let's refer to it as
Ladyface.
That's Ladyface. Yeah. So Ladyface was there, and he was just freaking crazy. And I guess they tried to insinuate that like Ladyface. I don't really get it. If they tried to insinuate that this cannibalistic family of psychopaths was what was it? They were like either from outer space.
No, they were for some reason. It went all over the place. It was that
there was no rhyme or reason to this movie at all.
No, there wasn't. The first part was that they were there pretty much to cause chaos.
I don't know.
They were they were trying to explain it as you hear the stories of who killed JFK.
Job to kill people? Well, I really shouldn't be telling you this, but you know how you always hear these stories about these people who run everything, but nobody knows who they are, right? Well, it's true. I mean, I never would have believed it, but it's all true. I mean, who do you think killed Kennedy?
Government?
No, that government stuff is bull crap. It's these people. And they've been doing this kind of thing for like 1,000 or 2,000 years, I forget which. And nobody knows their names. And that's who Vilmer works for.
It wasn't the government. It was, it was people like us. We've been around for thousands, maybe, 2,000 years or whatever, doing this, killing people. For what? What was the purpose?
The only purpose of this entire movie that I can think of was that the movie itself was made as a science experiment on the human race and set down upon us by some evil overlord.
It was a Scientology film.
It was a Scientology film. They brought it to us.
It's fucking Scientology.
So L. Ron Hubbard could take over our minds. So I'm just kind of looking over my notes here, and
I'm just going to tell you, I didn't take any notes on this. There was
I took a couple.
The only thing I wrote down was slaughter family equals government cover up, and Matthew McConaughey best part of the film.
I wrote down that they had. I wrote down
happy face, frowny face,
yes,
drunky face.
Drunky face halfway through. I drew a cat.
Let's see. Yeah, I wrote down. Let's see. What did I write down? Shitty tuxes and prom dresses, because they had shitty tuxes and shitty prom dresses.
Now, was this was supposed to take place in the 1990s?
Yeah.
Their outfits looked like they were from the 1980s.
Well, they were from Texas, so I can understand.
Well, let's say we could actually figure out, due to the complicated description of one of the time periods.
I'm pretty sure there was like a wormhole in here, and
because let's see, when did the first
first one happened in the 70s?
Yep.
Then they said that there was like 10 years between when those events and the next events
then they
happened.
reappeared for 2 years,
yeah,
5 years, and there was nothing, and then this movie happened.
Yes,
but they had but the
even the beginning was confusing in that state.
But Matthew McConaughey, he had technology from the future, so
for some reason Matthew McConaughey's character had a robot leg, and they never explained why.
That was a cool ass robot leg, though.
It was a shop vac attached to his belt.
And you know what it is? That's the kind of it's the budget costume you make when you're 12 years old, and you just go around and take apart the vacuum cleaner, make a gun out of it or something.
Even though that whole aspect of his character made no fucking sense of why he had a robot leg. It was never explained. it did cater to one of the best deaths. Actually, one of the only deaths.
Yeah, I guess
One of two.
One of the two.
You know, that's right. Like there was like 2 deaths, and there was one like there was 3 deaths. Like,
3 deaths. Yeah.
There was
4 if you count the guy at the very beginning who didn't really die. He just kind of fell over.
Well, he broke his neck.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
There was 3. Okay, there was 3 deaths that we saw. There was 3 confirmed deaths. One that could have been a death, could not have been a death. We don't know. Those 3 confirmed deaths were from Matthew McConaughey.
Right.
The one not confirmed death was from Leatherface.
Yeah.
And all of them, you really didn't see anything that happened.
No.
Like the most gruesome thing that we have was the Heather girl being put up on the hook.
Yeah.
Which for some reason later on in the movie, she's out in the middle of the woods crawling around, and there's no explanation of how she got from point A to point B.
Yep, just magically ended up off the hook.
Yeah.
The only cool moment I think that I got from the film was like at the very beginning. I guess they had to get the cool moment out of the way so the rest of the shit can come in. But the only cool moment that I had that I'm like, okay, Matthew McConaughey is freaking cool. Was the part where there was the guy that was like passed out on the side of the road, and Matthew McConaughey comes up and and he's like, "This guy's dead."
Boy's dead. No, he's not. He's just passed out. I said he's dead. But he was just talking in his sleep.
Is that right?
Well, he's dead now.
Then he proceeds to go and be like, "Oh, we're just gonna kill you. Why? Well, it's different for everybody, you know."
Yeah, his dialogue, it was actually really good. I mean, if it wasn't for Matthew McConaughey,
this movie would have been nearly 100% unwatchable if it wasn't for him.
If there was any saving grace, it would have to have been him. He would, the one thing that I didn't like for his character was at the end, he got all emo basically and started cutting on himself.
Yeah, right after he.
It's like, oh no, my dad, boss, alien friend, guy, whoever the fuck this guy is.
Yeah, whoever this is
mad at me. I'm gonna cut myself.
Also known as the most confusing part of that movie, hands down. Dude in the suit just shows up out of nowhere and berates the entire family, who immediately shuts up.
Yeah.
Not to mention the girl they were holding captive just automatically falls in his arms, which I don't know if anybody else were in a situation like that, since they're surrounded by like dead bodies sitting at a freaking dinner table with a bunch of crap on it. If
a random person walked in like that,
wasn't freaking out about all the horrible stuff going on,
and somehow had control of the whole entire family, would you really want to be with that person?
Yeah.
I would not be asking that person for help. I would be more afraid of that person than I would with the family.
Yeah, his entire claim to fame now is that he got to lick Renee Zellweger's face. It's like, yep, I'm the guy that licked her face.
I'm that guy.
You know Renee Zellweger? I licked her.
Yeah, on the face.
On the face.
So, do you think Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger kind of knew what they were getting into when they started this movie?
Before this film, they really didn't have any big parts, and this was like their first real starring role. Yeah. So probably at the time, they were on cloud 9. They were like, "Oh my god, this is great!"
So, do you think if like
nowadays they probably just want you to forget about the whole damn thing?
I think if anybody was going to be proud about the performance, definitely Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
I think he'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, I was awesome in that film."
Even though this film sucked, I would rather see more performances like this out of Matthew McConaughey.
He was
You know
what? He was a psycho like Ernest P. Worrell in this movie. Yeah. So they should have just called it like Ernest Goes Psycho, and it would have been 100 times better.
Yeah,
we got to kill him, Vern. Wipe him out. Nip them in the bud and make them scream.
Yeah, and like how he kills the Heather girl, the one that was thrown up on the spike and somehow got off and roamed the woods for a while. He later on in the dinner scene lights her on fire, which that was another thing that kind of I noticed.
I did like the fire in the whole comment he made as he threw fire.
He had very good little one-liners here and there. He did a very good psychopath.
Yeah, I agree, but it doesn't make up for the fact that this movie was awful.
Yeah. Yes, but after being thrown up on a spike, beaten with a stick, lit on fire, and probably and bleeding out, this Heather chick finally meets her demise by Matthew McConaughey crushing her skull with his robotic leg.
one thing that really threw me off is I have a MacBook Pro and the CD-ROM drive is starting to go on it, and the noise it makes is pretty much exactly like the noises Lake was making in that entire sequence.
So you'll always be remember this.
So when your CD drive is going on the MacBook Pro, you'll be thinking of Matthew McConaughey crushing your skull with his robotic leg?
Not really. It's just if Matthew McConaughey was ever going to crush my skull, I'd be like, hey, that reminds me of my CD-ROM drive.
I'm glad that's the thing that's going through your mind when Matthew McConaughey is crashing your skull.
No, you want to know what the real thing going through my mind when Matthew McConaughey is crashing through my skull?
His foot?
Yes.
Oh! Hello!
Oh,
fuck you, Scott.
Fuck me too, man. That sucks.
So
I do agree that was an awesome scene, and it did. And what I liked was that it was if there's
it was the
anything
weirdest
that really did
dinner
not
scene,
right.
though.
Yeah, I mean it was also. I also like the fact that they just kept it up for just a little bit, longer, where it sort of became an uncomfortable sort of thing almost.
Yes.
Which
yes, we're sitting here saying this movie is shit. Overall, it was shit, but it had its points in it. There was parts in it that were uncomfortable. I don't know if it was half uncomfortable because we can't believe we're watching this, or it was just uncomfortable because of the situation of it.
Anything with the tow truck really wasn't that bad.
No, the tow truck was pretty good, and I think the only reason or the only explanation that we got really for why they even kept Renee Zellweger alive and why they were going to kill her eventually was so that Leatherface or Ladyface could have a new face. He was tired of the one that he had. He pretty much wanted his version of plastic surgery.
Yeah. I can't blame him. I mean, that
facelift.
It was old. It looked like an old lady in it. It was just horrible.
He didn't have HMO, so I mean, what else?
Blue Cross Blue Shield. Didn't exist.
But does a film like this really need an excuse or a reason of why they're doing this? No, they're psychopathic, cannibalistic, killers out in the middle of the woods. People stumble upon them. What do? They do what they do best. They kill them and eat them.
Yep, that's
even though they didn't eat any of them.
Yeah.
Yep, which was disappointing and.
So, you know what the most unexpected thing about this movie was?
What?
Matthew McConaughey, his character getting killed by an airplane.
Yeah.
A random airplane in the middle of Texas.
It seriously seemed like once they got to the dinner scene, they didn't know what to do past that. So they brought in some random guy with 3 nipple piercings to lick Renee Zellweger's face. Then she runs out of the house.
They had a crop duster.
Yeah, and it cuts to a crop duster for some reason.
Bright yellow crop duster.
Yeah.
There's parts of this movie that, like, with these certain characters popping up, I like to think that maybe if I saw all the other Texas Chainsaw Massacres...
Wait, is this the only one?
Yeah, I've never seen any other
You've never seen any of them?
I've seen. So I've never... I start with
So this was the cherry pop for you.
Well, I've seen...
Be the movie that introduces you to the Chainsaw Massacre series.
This is why I hate Scott even more, because I've seen this movie a long time ago, back in like 97, I think.
Okay, wait, so you've never seen any of the other ones?
This was the first
except for this one.
Yeah.
And when did you see this?
Like in 97.
So when it first came out. Yeah. So it was still
Nick
fresh.
was waiting in line at the theater when this thing out. He was like,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh
my God, Matthew McConaughey is so hot. I can't wait to see him.
No, I don't know who it was. The guy with the robot leg. It's great.
It's like Transformers and chainsaws all put together.
You know what?
He was a Mega Man villain.
Yeah. So this was the only Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie you saw?
Yeah, this is the only one. I don't have any desire
and you've
to see
seen it twice now.
Yeah, that's why you suck, Scott. I don't want to watch it again.
But
to be fair, like it's kind of funny. Like when the first time I watched, I remember ending it and going, "This movie sucks." And then I started watching this again, and there were a few moments where I'm like, "No, okay, it's not as bad as I remember." And then it just kept it.
I remember looking.
Oh, this sucks.
I remember looking over at you, and at one point you're just like. You were almost second guessing yourself. You're like, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then I could see it click in your head. You're like, oh yes, this was shit.
And then the synapses fired, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, I remember that. And then he got shittier.
Yeah.
This movie really doesn't start off god awful. In fact, it goes in the
the dialogue.
It starts off very stereotypical.
Yeah, it's like it's
pretty.
Film. I mean, it's not. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was treading the fine line there, and then it's just like somebody flipped a switch, and it went from tolerable to what the hell is going on?
Because I was able to look past the really shitty dialogue. It was trying to beat it in there. Yes, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere. Yes, okay, it's a horror film. Someone's going to come out and try to kill you. Everything you're doing is very stereotypical. And then it just, like you said, flipped the switch and went all batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I did learn some stuff, though, in the beginning of this, though.
Oh, yes, the life valuable lessons.
Yes. So I've discovered I've been trying to get women the completely wrong way.
Yes, you have.
I mean, according to this, you have to be just a complete douche, and say that if you don't have sex, you're going to get some sort of cancer.
Look, guys need sex, okay? It's bad for you to get all worked up and then not get it. You can get prostate cancer. Is that what you want?
Exactly. Cancer is a big turn on, apparently.
So, ladies, I need to have sex with you, or else I'm going to die from prostate cancer.
I don't know if
that's just how it works.
I can see you at a bar, like, after like a few beers, and there's some hot chick there, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have prostate cancer unless you blow me." Can we play the soundbite of the ending little speech by the weird guy that showed up?
Okay.
All this, it's been an abomination. You really must accept my sincere apologies. It was supposed to be a spiritual experience. I can't tell you how disappointed I am. I suppose it's something we all live with. People like us who strive for something, a sense of harmony. Perhaps it's disappointment that keeps us going. La raison d'être. Unfortunately, it's never been easy for me. One of my many failings.
Yeah, so that soundbite right there. I think that pretty much summed up the entire movie. That was the director's
that was supreme irony right there. I'm sure he put it in that as some sort of lesson, but all you can get out of it after you've watched this horrible disaster piece is that it's like an apology for the entire thing that he just put you through.
Well, it's kind of like a double-handed apology, because he says he's sorry, and then he's like, well, maybe it's the things that are disastrous that gets us through life. So he's like, yeah, fuck you. I know it was bad, but it made you better for it. And I don't think I'm really much better for it.
But yeah, overall, this movie was pretty bad. Script sucked.
Yeah.
Acting blew besides Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Cinematography was okay. Actually, no, there was some pretty cool shots in there. There were some interesting shots.
The ones with the truck again. I like some of the ones with the truck. It was mostly dust and headlights, which is.
But also that was
There's some fucked up editing sequences.
If you have not seen this movie, you are lucky. If you're a fan of horror films, or if you're a fan of shitty films, this is definitely something that you might want to see. Just not for entertainment value, just for pure interest and self-loathing.
Well, let's face it. If they're listening to this, they're probably like us, who go out of their way and probably rent shitty movies once in a while to go and figure out what
avoid this one at all cost.
Yeah. Scott, what do you rate this film?
Well, I mean, when I rented this here, I honestly didn't think it was going to be this bad. I knew it was going to be bad just based on, the cover art I'd seen earlier, but this went above and beyond the call of shitty movies. I will give it, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 coiled up stinky doggy dookies. It is awful. I hate this movie.
So that means it was bad.
It was awful.
Bad.
I hate this movie.
It's bad.
Right.
Well, if you think it's good, you can go watch it again.
I think for me, closing thoughts on this is that it broke two stereotypes in there. One, in that rednecks are stupid, because there's one redneck in there that actually quoted like Shakespeare and Dostoevsky. And
I propose to fight it out on this line if it takes all summer. That's Ulysses S. Grant. You probably didn't know that, did you? Of course you didn't. Because you're a bona fide moron.
But it was kind of like, almost like overbearing. It's like, God, okay, you're an idiot. Leave it alone. We know you know quotes. There we
go. Well, this movie killed my.
You watched
childhood,
Jeopardy
so.
a lot.
Yeah. And the other stereotype that it broke was that Texas Chainsaw Massacre was cool. This was
Says the man who's seen this movie twice and no other Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Yeah. Well, everybody says that they're all cool. Right?
Most of them.
Well, they're better than this.
Yeah.
This one sucked. I'll give this one. I don't know, man. This is like a 9, if not a 10, on the shittiest, worst scale ever. Like 10 bad donkey poo-poos. And maybe if I'm a huge Matthew McConaughey fan, I would actually probably rank this a lot higher. Like if I am a Matthew McConaughey collector, I think this was actually a really cool performance of it. So I'd rank it really high up there.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
but as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film,
this is the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre you will ever see.
Yeah. For me,
go ahead, say it. Fuck you, Scott.
Fuck you, Scott.
Okay, there you go. You feel better? You get it out of your system, or you get
no, because I cannot have that hour and a half back in my life. Yeah. Again, I don't want to sound like it really sounds like I have a man crush on Matthew McConaughey in this podcast.
Well, he was awesome in this.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was.
I will have a bromance for him.
Yeah, I am grasping at the only redeeming factor in this film, and that is his role in this picture, and that was
Is it?
He was the fucking badass. It's just sad when you're sitting here going, oh my god, come on. Bring out Matthew McConaughey. Let him kill someone. Do something. Make it interesting. And he was. He was the only redeeming factor. And for that, I'll give it a 9.5.
All right, let's end this. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do this. Well, for next week, it's Nick's choice, and I have been dying all week to know what fucking film you're going to be bringing.
Yeah, me too. What are you going to bring?
I'm telling you.
Dude, you told the chick at Movie Stop, and she was like rubbing it in my face. Come on, tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
No, you have to tell us.
I'm not going to tell you. I was planning on telling you tonight, but then I saw this shitty movie, and this is my retaliation. Not telling you.
Come on. How are we supposed to let them know?
You won't know.
How are we supposed to?
They'll read it online.
Oh,
and they just have to tune in next week to find out what it is.
All right,
but let them know this is probably going to be the exact polar opposite of what this movie could be.
I hope so. If not,
so Kittens and Sunshine with good acting.
It's possible.
Okay,
you have no
Kittens
idea.
And Sunshine.
It's. I feel like I have a carnal duty to
cleanse the
palate.
Yes,
and this will be my mission for this week. And
well, it still has to be bad, though.
I have a movie in my mind, and I'm going to subject you all upon it. And
it better be. Well, actually, you know what? Anything.
I think next week. You know what?
Oh no!
I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna make us do 5 minutes at the beginning before we actually watch the movie, where I can present it to you and get your guys' thoughts on it.
All right.
And then we'll watch it, and then we'll come back and do it.
So, for any of you that are interested, it is a mystery episode next week.
Mystery episode, yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Yes. That's a good thing.
Even we don't know what we're watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
let the Nick, let them know where they can, if they want to.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, make any comments about these podcasts. If you agree with us, if you don't agree with us, if you want to suggest films for us to watch. Anything, please.
Or how we've ruined your life through horrible films.
If you're
Precisely.
a hot chick and you don't want Scott to get cancer,
exactly.
Go to our new website. It is Ben. What is our URL?
Our URL is www.themoviedump.com.
The Movie Dump.
The Movie
It's
Dump.
great.
Yes, that's all right. I guess. Okay.
It's a piece of shit.
You download our podcast there. You can contact all of us. You can leave comments for our episodes.
Let us know what you think, honestly.
If you have any reviews, let us know. And also, we have an email address set up, so you can actually email us directly. We prefer that you use the comment section and share your thoughts amongst the entire world. So you can be either flamed or encouraged.
So if you've seen these films and want to add your little 2 cents into it, please do.
Yes.
We are.
Or if you're interested in being a reviewer.
If you want to be a guest viewer with us.
Because we are accepting applications.
All right, I'm running out of beer, so tell them what the...
all right, email address. Email address, I've set this up, it is youthrewpoo@me.com.
And that's not AT-me.
Why? I How do you spell it? It's Y-O-U.
Hold on. Start it over. Okay, hold on. We're sorry.
It's you-through-poo@me.com. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
It is the best email address ever. Why goes through the window?
That's Y-O-U-T-H-R-E-W-Y. Wait, no, I spelled it wrong. It's Y-O-U-T-H-R-E-W at the little @ sign M. Wait, no, I screwed up again.
We'll put it in the description of the episode. It will be down at the bottom, just so we don't have to stay here much longer. Because I'm pretty sure you're not listening.
Spelling it. It's you through poo at.
It's you. Okay,
you through poo at me.com.
At symbol me.com.
All right, that's it. Let's end this. Let's end this with some wonderful music of Blue Moon at Dawn, which was the theme song to this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the shit fest.
Yes.
And we'll just end it out.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening.
Yep, we are sorry that we made you sit here and listen to us. So we appreciate it.
But just remember that whatever you're listening to right now is not nearly as awful as what we just saw.
All right. Till next week. I'm Nick Brown.
I'm Scott Heimkraft.
I am.
Well, that's a new last name for you now.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Whatever.
I'm Ben, and I'm also out of beer. So
see you next week.
Bye.
See you next.
Fuck you, Scott.